Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. I can see quite a few of you who have started trickling in. I'm sure it's a warm and sunny day from wherever you're joining in. To all those in the audience who have just started tuning in very quickly in the chat window, can you please tell us which part of Africa are you joining in from? We really want to know where our audiences are coming in from today. So while I take some time to get warmed up and introduce you to our panelists today very quickly in the chat window. I see we close to around 70 or 80 students who've joined in. Which city are you dialing in from? If you could just let us know. So we have someone from Ghana who's here. Thank you so much for joining us. Any other people? There's someone from Nigeria who's just tuned in. Like I mentioned, we have a very, very power-packed session. So a couple of people from Ghana, Nigeria. Anyone from Kenya? Yes, we do have someone from Kenya, from Ibadan. Wow, keep those messages coming in. Like I said, it's a very, very exciting session today. You are going to be listening in from Worcester Polytechnic Institute located in USA. And we have some current students who, just like yourself, not so long ago were back home in Nigeria and are now studying there. So we are going to get a lot of opportunity to hear from them about their experiences, get to know more about the university and so on. Very well. I am waiting for my colleague and host to take forward the session. But before that, a very quick introduction to Worcester Polytechnic Institute. They're a global leader in project-based learning. They're a distinct top-tier technological university. And they have students coming in from around the globe and really, really help all of you get the best out of whatever it is that you're learning. Joining me on the panel today is Daniel Richer. Hi, Daniel. Thank you so much for taking time and joining us today.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm so excited to speak to so many prospective students.
Thank you so much. Daniel is the Executive Director of Enrollment Strategy at WPI. He's an experienced education leader with expertise in enrollment management and student recruitment. Like I mentioned, he currently serves as the Executive Director of Enrollment Strategy at WPI, a role that he has been in since 2023. Daniel, thank you so much for joining us once again. And I'm sure to all those of you who are looking to get an admit into WPI, Daniel is your go-to person. Apart from Daniel, we have two friends, two current students who are joining us. We have Adine. Hi, Adine. He's a graduate student ambassador hailing from Lagos, Nigeria. He's an accomplished graduate of the University of Lagos and is currently pursuing his MSc in Business Analytics at WPI. Thank you so much for taking out time from your schedule and being available to be a part of this discussion. We also have Remy, who's agreed to join us. Remy is a proud native of the Osun State in Nigeria. She has graduated from the Osun State University, and she is currently advancing her expertise in data-driven decision-making as an MSc student in business analytics with a specialization in marketing at WPI. So to both of you, thank you so much for joining us and taking out time. I see quite a few of you who have joined into the session. We are close to 165 of you. What I'm going to do is, before we get started, we want to know a little bit about what exactly are you expecting to hear from this session. So I'm going to run my first poll question for today, which is going to be in front of you. So if you could all look at your screens in front of you and let us know which insights are you hoping to gain from this session. Are you hoping to gain information about WPI's career services and resources? Are you someone who's looking at networking trips and strategies to take away? Are you someone who's looking at information about industry-specific training and skill development? Or are you someone who wants to hear about real success stories from the students present here? Or, like most of you, I'm sure, you want to know all of this about all of these above choices and a lot more about the university. So I'm going to keep the poll question running for a couple of more minutes and would really request all of you to go and cast your votes and let us know what exactly is it that you're hoping to gain from this session. So very quickly on the screen in front of you, which insights are you hoping to gain from this session today? Please cast your votes and let us know which choice do you resonate the most with. Great. I'm going to end the poll question quickly and share the results on the screen in front of you. As you can see, almost 70% of the audience is looking to get insights on all of these above things, closely followed by other areas. So thank you so much for everyone who participated in the poll. With that, I would now like to first invite Daniel to let us know more in detail about the university programs, scholarships, and its offerings. Over to you, Daniel.
Thank you so much. Once again, good evening. And for me here in the greater Worcester area, I would like to offer you a good afternoon. It is a little chilly here. I understand that where you are located, it may be warm and sunny. It's quite cold here in Worcester. We may be expecting some snow over the weekend. But at any rate, it's a real privilege and a true honor for me to be with you this afternoon. I must confess that I am very biased about WPI. I am tremendously proud of this university. We are able to do amazing things, and I am especially excited that we have two fantastic student representatives to share their insights in Remy and Adenye. They are wonderful, wonderful ambassadors and representatives of WPI. What I would like to do is share just some general overview information for those of us that may not be quite as familiar with WPI. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that we can get started. This will be a quick presentation because I think it's going to be very important for you to hear from Remy and from Adenye, because their experience as current WPI students is going to be really valuable. So as you can see on this first slide, my name is Daniel Richer. I've been at WPI for almost 2 full years now. I am from originally very close to Worcester, Massachusetts. I grew up about 15 minutes away. I love that area of the United States. We are located in the northeast corner of the United States. If I can see on the map here, we are located just about 45 minutes from the city of Boston, Massachusetts. Boston, as you may know, is a true academic center. There are more colleges and universities within a 1-hour radius of the city of Boston than anywhere in the world. This includes WPI. So we are truly in an intellectual, academic, worldwide center. This obviously has some advantages that we're happy to talk about, but also we have close proximity to other major cities. Worcester itself is the second largest city in that northeast region of the United States. We are only about 3 hours from New York City. So to come to campus, and once you're on campus, to take advantage of these areas is going to be very, very easy, okay? The other thing that we like to talk about is in comparison to the cities of New York and Boston, we find Worcester to be a very livable city and a very affordable city. Great opportunities to have cultural experiences off campus. We have close proximity to other universities, great business and professional opportunities. We're very close to the Atlantic Ocean. We're a little over an hour away from the White Mountains of northern New England, which would have opportunities for like skiing and hiking. Wonderful, wonderful opportunities in the region. WPI itself. We have a total of about 7,500 students. About 5,000 are going to be undergraduate students. Here, we're here to talk specifically about the graduate school, and we have over 2,000 graduate students that are studying in one of our nearly 60 academic programs. You can see on the slide that they're broken down into 4 colleges or 4 areas. We do have a business school. We have a School of Arts and Sciences, engineering, as well as a global school, which has some programs like community climate adaptation and global development. Very, very exciting, very diverse academic opportunities, okay? I would not be able to tell you which program is the strongest because I feel very confident that all of these programs are rigorous, worthwhile, and very, very strong programs. We can certainly try to talk in more detail about some of the programs, but in terms of sheer numbers, things like robotics, mechanical engineering, are very large programs. We have excellent business analytics, data science, computer science. Certainly our focus, as our name implies, Polytechnic, our primary focus is science, technology, engineering, and math. We are a truly comprehensive research university offering bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, as well as PhDs. One of the things that I think is most impressive about WPI is the strength of our faculty. We have tremendously strong and talented, dedicated faculty who work very closely with our students. Our classes are relatively small. As a matter of fact, you can see on there, we have only 13 students for every one faculty member. That means you're going to get to know them very well. They're going to get to know you very well. There are certain advantages to that, especially as you get closer to graduation. They're very connected in their industry and in their field, so they can provide opportunities for networking and to help students find and secure positions after they graduate from WPI. And of course, research. We have a high level of research activity on campus, and I think that happens at all three levels, bachelor's degree, master's degree, as well as PhD. You'll find that our students are very, very collaborative, and it's a very interdisciplinary campus. So you may be studying something like business analytics, but you would also have the opportunity to work with students and faculty from other departments. It's a real great opportunity for students to pursue what it is that they are passionate about and really have a full academic, rigorous research agenda. It's a wonderful thing. The application process. First of all, I want to tell you that we are able to review applications on an ongoing basis. So depending on what your time frame is, whether you would like to start in a fall or a spring semester, we are happy to read and review your application throughout the calendar year. Right now, because our spring semester is about to start, I believe it's on the 15th of this month, most students that are submitting an application right now will be looking for our fall semester. We do require students to submit all of their academic transcripts from their bachelor's degree programs. If you have any graduate work already, certainly we would like to see that as well. Although we don't have a minimum or a cutoff in terms of grade point average, most students that are going to be competitive will have a GPA, a grade point average, about a 3.0 or higher. Okay? For students that have studied in a country or a university where English is not the primary language of instruction, we do require students to submit their English proficiency. That can be demonstrated by submitting either the TOEFL, the IELTS, or the Duolingo score. And you can see what we typically look for on the screen. We also are a test blind institution. So although some PhD programs may require the GRE, it is not something that is required for most of our programs. We will ask every student that's applying to submit their professional resume if they have one, get 3 letters of recommendation, and also submit that statement of purpose, which outlines why you want to pursue your education in the discipline that you're applying to, and perhaps also why you're interested in WPI. That all can be covered in your statement of purpose. The application can be found completely online at wpi.edu. You can start your application, you can save your work, go back and revisit it tomorrow or next week. You do not have to finish it all at one time. You can see the codes that you can enter to have your scores sent to us. That code for ETS is 3969. But everything about this application process, from your unofficial transcripts, your letters of recommendation, as well as your resume and statement of purpose, all can be uploaded electronically. I mentioned we're on a rolling admission process, so students will be able to start in the fall and submit their application at any time throughout this spring. The review process. How long does it take for you to hear back from WPI? Well, typically, we're doing it in a very quick time frame. It could be as little as 2 weeks. But to be safe, we say students should expect a decision in about 6 weeks. And that gives time for those recommendations to come in, the transcripts to come in, as well as those test scores. Once an application is complete, once we have all of those credentials, we'll be able to review and give you a decision within about 2 weeks of that time frame in most cases. Once a student has been admitted, we're going to be able to send you a lot of information about next steps, how to enroll, how to register, when is orientation. There's some tremendous amount of helpful information that will be coming once a student has been accepted. Financial aid and scholarships. We are able to offer academic scholarships. They could be, in some cases, up to $10,000. There are no separate applications for most of those academic scholarships. We are able to award them based on the information we get from the admission process. This is a fairly new thing for WPI. It's something that we recognize will help some really talented, motivated, and ambitious students come to WPI. So this is a very new initiative for us and one that we're excited about. You can see there's also a couple of other resources up here on this particular slide. We do offer some tips for receiving outside financial aid and outside potential scholarship services, as well as things like fellowships and graduate assistantships. Most of those assistantships are going to be reserved for students that are working on their PhD at WPI, but there could be some opportunities for students to secure on-campus work and positions as a master's degree student. We also want to make sure we're doing everything we can to help our very large international student population have a successful and easy visa and immigration process. Our International Student and Scholars Office used to be known as the International House. We're able to provide a tremendous amount of support for students who are going through the visa interview process and going through that I-20 process. We can help with all types of resources and at every stage along the way. We have professionals whose sole job is to help our students successfully navigate this process. So we want to make sure that students are feeling confident and feeling good about going through this visa interview process. ISS, as well as the Graduate Admission Office, is here to help with any questions that you may have so that we can help you in every way we can become a student at WPI. I'm also happy to put our contact information on this presentation. If at any point you would like to come visit campus, certainly there's our address. We welcome the students and visitors at any time. But for most of our international students, the best way to get in touch with us is going to be via email. And there are two important email addresses that I can share with you. The first one is for the Graduate Admission Office. If you have questions about certain academic programs, the admission process, that would be a great resource, grad@wpi.edu. The other website up, the other email address up there is for our International House. They are a tremendous resource, and we very much look forward to working with you. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. That was super helpful. And I am sure everyone in the audience has gained a lot of insights. I can see the questions flowing in, but I would request everyone to please stay around till the end of the session, because now we are going to be moving into a very, very exciting part of this session for today, where we will be starting with the panel discussion. I would now like to invite my colleague Kayode Abbas from Africa to take over, and he will be leading the panel question and hosting the panel questions and asking questions to Daniel and the two students who are present here today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sabahat. And thank you, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining. I can see so many people, have joined us, about 236 of you. Thank you for taking the time out this evening to join us. Thank you, Daniel, for that very insightful presentation. So before we move into the panel session, I just want to give Adeni, our students facilitator, our student panelists here, an opportunity also to introduce themselves. So Adeni and Remy. So Remy, would you like to say something about yourself before we go into the panel session? Introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me confirm. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, Kaide. Okay.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So my name is Oluwaremilekun Liliandurudala. Remy is fine. And I'm currently a graduate student of WPI Business School. The business school is kind of like where my program is, or the department where my program is. So it's the business school is like a part of the WPI school as a whole. So I am doing my master's in business analytics with specialty in marketing. And most recently, we had the would I say integration of AI into the program as well. So I'm in my second year, currently in my second year of graduate studies, and should be graduating this spring or most likely in the summer. Yeah, in May. So yeah,
Thank you.
it's been a wonderful experience here, and so I'll hand over to Adeni at this point.
Thank you.
Hi,
Thank you,
everyone.
Remy.
So my name is Adeni. Adeni Talabi is my name. Just like Romileko, I'm also studying business analytics here in WPI, but my focus is on advanced analytics. So talking about machine learning, artificial intelligence, advanced programming, and all of that. So again, just like Romileko, I'm also in my final semester, and I look forward to graduating in the spring break. So I look forward to answering your questions and also telling you more about WPI.
Yeah, thank you very much, Adeni. And I'm sure everybody is itching to ask questions from both of you. I'm sure they want to know about the experience in WPI and how to get it, the career opportunities, the internship opportunities you've gotten, etc. But before we go into the question and answer session, I would like to ask each of you, and including Daniel as well, I would like to ask each of you some questions. And please, if you have questions for them, please drop all those questions in the comments. I'm going to read them. We're going to ask them those questions, and you're going to get satisfactory answers before the end of this session. So please drop all those questions. I'm reading them. I'm looking out for them. We're going to ask those questions, at the end of the panel session. Okay, so my first question goes to you, Remy, and I just want to ask, as a student of WPI right now, what drew you to WPI for your graduate studies? Was there a specific aspect of the business analytics program that stood out to you?
Yes, absolutely. I have had a very dynamic and interesting background. For my first degree, coming from a background of like geology, and then diving into marketing as a career path for me. So as a marketing specialist, I recognized at some point, having gone like 3 years into my career, I recognized at some point that there was a growing need or importance of understanding data to make informed and data-driven decisions in marketing. And also for the next stage of my career, as I was aspiring for more, I realized I needed to equip myself with the skills of analytics. And I also wanted a place where they would not totally take me out of the marketing stream, but at the same time, just bridge that gap between marketing and analytics, and I needed a school that could do that for me. And in my search, I came across WPI. And one interesting thing that caught my attention with WPI was the fact that they had the business analytics program, and then there were like several streams, or would I say specialization to the business analytics program. And one of it was the marketing stream. And for me, that was what I was looking for. And that pretty much covered it for me. I also looked through the curriculum. I saw that they had, courses that pretty much, were like focusing on industry needed skills and knowledge. And prior to this time, I would say my data analytics understanding was very limited, and I just knew that this was the right place for me to come to bridge this gap and to get the skills and unless whatever knowledge is out here for me to grab. And yeah, that has been the journey, and that was my decision in choosing WPI and coming all the way here, which is pretty much
thank you very much, Remy.
Yeah.
Yes. So going over to Adeni, and my question to you is kind of similar to the question to Remy, but also I want to add that, like, how did WPI's reputation and resources influence your decision? So you can also add to it. I mean, you can also tell us also the aspects also of your program too that stood out to you.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, coming from Nigeria, where I did my undergrad from the University of Lagos, you know, I mean, the audience in here, they're mostly from Africa. So one of the biggest problems in Africa is having that hands-on learning, right? You know, probably don't have enough materials and laboratories to work, you know, as a student back home in school. And as a matter of fact, I had my undergrad in engineering. So I had so limited exposure to hands-on activities and some materials and, you know, instruments to work with while I was doing my undergrad. But when I was searching for a school to advance my knowledge, one big thing that stood out to me from WPI is the access to resources in terms of laboratory, in terms of materials, in terms of, you know, platforms where you could, you know, download for free because you're a student at WPI and use to do your programming courses, for instance. You know, all of those resources were really nice to have. And knowing that for my undergrad, I didn't have such resources. I didn't have such exposures. You know, when I saw WPI with these available resources, I got glued to WPI, right? And the other thing, that WPI is one of the very few schools in the United States that are project-based, right? And, you know, for me as a person coming from an engineering background, I realized that theory is not just going to cover everything for me. I need an hands-on practicals. I don't want to go to a school where I'm just going to be taught theoretical concepts. I wanted a school where, you know, I would dive into real-world projects, you know. And as a matter of fact, I've done some really nice projects over the years right in WPI. So these two things actually stood out to me and encouraged me to apply to WPI.
Thank you very, very much, Adeni. So my next question goes to Daniel. And you've heard the testimonial from Adeni and Remileku. So I want to ask that, how does WPI ensure that students like them find a supportive and inclusive academic community?
I love this question. And I think that the part of the question that is really resonating with me is about the aspect of being inclusive. We have students in the graduate school from 40 states across the United States, as well as nearly 60 countries and 6 continents. We are truly a global university. So we do want to make sure that our students are finding a home, that they're feeling supported, that they're feeling comfortable, and are able to be successful. This starts in the admission process with a very, very holistic and thorough personal review process. We look at not just your academic background, but also your statement of purpose, what it is, what kind of experiences you have, and how that may be a good fit to WPI. Once a student has decided to enroll at WPI, we're able to provide very, very relevant, important information about the visa process, as well as acclimating to the United States. We can provide support in finding housing, in setting up like a checking account or a bank account here in the United States. There's many opportunities for us to support our students. Once your academic experience has started, working with faculty, working with the various offices and professionals on campus is going to be instrumental. This is in professional opportunities like resume workshops and practice interviews and being made aware of job events, but also cultural activities. What is it like to be in the United States? If you are looking for a particular service or a restaurant, grocery store, so you can have a little piece of home, we have professionals in our international house and international student scholars office to help students be successful, to feel safe, supported, so that they can do their best academic work.
Thank you, Daniel. Okay, so my next question goes to Remileku. Can you share some highlights of your academic experience at WPI so far? Are there any standout courses, projects, or faculty members that have shaped your learning journey so far?
I feel like I have so many highlights so far, but just to share a few, I would say for me, what has stood out with WPI, and this is not to sound cliche or repeated, but it's the project-based learning for me, like the project-based learning approach that WPI takes. So since I've been here, it's one thing for a faculty member to come into class or to take you on a particular course and introduce you to a particular tool or software, and then beyond just introducing you to it, there is always, which is like very stressful, but I would say it's always what the resources, the payments, the investment you're putting into the program you're doing here. They would go as far as making sure that there is a project on every tool or every software or anything they are newly introducing you to. For instance, I remember in my first semester, we worked on this course that was business application in machine learning. And for someone that was not very technical, for me, that was a huge eye opener for me. I was introduced to the use of Microsoft Azure. I was able to, team up with other people in my team and solve a problem about a university having this admission attrition problem, and we're able to come up with prediction and solution and how to like solve this admission attrition problem using Microsoft Azure, using AutoML, and just having predictions of how to do the right approach the university should take in order to curb this attrition issue. Beyond that, I've also had the privileges of, having been exposed to Tableau, which came really handy when I eventually got an internship. And I was asked to start working with Tableau in updating, weekly reports of some of my organization, data, and sending it to a third-party agency, in order to see how the progress of what they were doing for the organization was coming along. That for me was like, oh my God, this was very relevant. There is nothing I'm doing here that is a joke, because as I said earlier, WPI will introduce you to industry-focused, tools, software, and needed, whatever it is that would shape, what you need to get out there and, stand on your own. Another interesting course I think I took was the AI, artificial intelligence application in business last semester. And I worked on this project also with and another interesting thing about WPI is you will learn to work on it with a team here. Coming from Nigeria, we used to have of course, we have projects where we work on teams, but I would believe many times they are very competitive. And so many times you're working as an individual and trying to showcase how good you are. But here, you are going to learn how to work on a team. Despite being on a team and trying to leverage your strengths, you also have to understand how to manage a group of people, how to, relate with them, irrespective of your diverse background and disparity or whatever it is your differences. But WPI has taught me how to work on different teams with different people from different part of the world. That is one thing that has also shaped me so far. So I worked on this project last semester as well that was on generative AI, and we built a chatbot for the WPI Business School. In one thing that was more like a problem that we provided a solution for in learning how to using generative AI to answer student questions that they would rather have to book a scheduled time and meet like an advisor to sort out maybe their curriculum or their course selection for the coming semester or coming academic year for them, which is very much okay. People do that, and advisors are always ready to, answer and, provide the time to do all that for students. But, having that exposure to knowing that generative AI could help, in building a chatbot that can also help students in solving this problem and making it, a faster way to doing stuff like that was a game changer for me as well. Like I said, I was coming from a non-technical background, and look at me here handling technical stuffs, rising up to those challenges, doing things I couldn't have done like a year or a year and a half ago. That has been very life-changing. I felt like, oh, it has been worth the investment, so far. Also, I would say I've met interesting faculty members here one of which is one of my independent research advisor, and a lot more. I don't want to mention names, but they're very open. Coming from Africa, where your professors are like little god, demigods that you can't, you have to, you have to have a reasonable reason for approaching them. Here, it's like an open door system. You can email your professor, tell them your struggles, tell them where you need help in whatever areas. They're always welcoming. They have the right resources to help you in, being the best in whatever you want to do, as long as it's their area of expertise. They're always willing to listen. Also, WPI has a culture of checking up on student mental health and providing programs that helps you in managing, a lot of your social activities and maybe things even outside, the academic program, but are very important in shaping your experience here as a student that will help you, become a successful student, an overall successful student. WPI has been so impactful in that area for me. So I would say overall, I've had several highlights, but just to mention those few. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you very much, Remy. So speaking of the project-based approach of WPI to learning, right? Adeni, and this question is for you. How has this approach helped you apply concepts in real-world scenarios?
Very good question. So in WPI, as I said, we have the project-based approach to learning, and I've had the privilege of working on a problem that is being faced in Airbnb. So one of my classes, we're doing some data analytics for business intelligence, and one project that I got to work on was, addressing the hookups and customer service challenges for Airbnb in New York City. And I mean, that's a real world problem faced by the company Airbnb, right? But if I didn't have the opportunity to get this class, I probably won't be aware of that problem, in the multi-billion-dollar company, right? And we obviously attempted to solve the problem using real data, right, to solve the problem faced by Airbnb. But another good thing is, Remy mentioned a course on artificial intelligence, and as we all know, AI is really it's moving fast, right, in the world today. And the good thing about WPI is also moving along, right? So, I mean, I was surprised, I must say, to see that within a year, a new course was added to the curriculum, artificial intelligence, even when it wasn't there about 6-8 months ago. It just tells you how interested WPI is in your advancement and in your learning the right technology, the right skills that is needed in the world of today, right? So I took the course in artificial intelligence, and I mean, without going overboard, I can boldly say that I've built an AI agent before, right? Built an AI agent working on different data, and a real one actually. We were able to build this with my team, connected to a website. We actually built an MVP, a minimum viable product, that could be advanced to a real AI agent product, right? So, and this I learned within 7 weeks, right? We did this within 7 weeks of coursework. And one thing you should also know about WPI is we have these, should I say, term-based classes, right? Many schools in America or everywhere would probably have a 12-week course or a 14-week course, but in WPI, we have some courses that are 7 weeks, and they are fast-paced, but you'll learn a lot within the 7 weeks. And the good thing about it is you learn based on projects. You get to do a project within 7 weeks, and you can imagine how much resources, how much knowledge you are gathering within 7 weeks to build an AI agent. That's massive, right? And WPI provided the resources we needed, access to platforms like Flowise, platforms like Gemini, LLMs like, ChatGPT and things like that. So we had premium access to these things, and we're able to use them to build our AI agents. So really, the project-based approach really exposes us to, these real life scenarios, these real life problems, right? And are getting us ready, preparing us for, opportunities after school.
Thank you very much, Adeni. And in case you are just joining us, WPI is a global leader in project-based learning, yeah, and a top-tier technological university. So my next question goes to Daniel. So for those people that are wondering about studying in WPI, right? And they would love to know, I'm sure they would love to know they would love to know what makes WPI's graduate programs stand out compared to other institutions. Are there any specific resources or opportunities that are unique to WPI?
I love
Daniel?
this question. Yes, sir. I love this question. This may be the most important question for us to try to answer. Among many great options that you have to continue your education, what makes us unique? I think there are probably three things that I can point to. First of all, our motto, our philosophy on education is theory into practice. What does that mean? What that means is we are very confident that students at WPI will get a tremendous knowledge base. You will work hard and you will get a tremendous theoretical background. You will know your stuff in your discipline. You will gain and acquire great knowledge. But you will then know how to apply that knowledge, apply that theory into real world settings so that you may go on and be a positive change in the world. You will know how to take that knowledge and answer questions, find solutions to the problems and questions that exist in our world, and make a positive contribution. That, more than anything else, happens across all disciplines, and I cannot reiterate that enough. Theory into practice. We want you to learn, but we also want you to know how to use that knowledge to make a positive impact. That for us is tremendous. A second thing that I think is really important is just how interdisciplinary the WPI experience can be. Everybody has a program that they are studying in: data science, robotics, business analytics, all wonderful programs. But each of those programs is going to have the opportunity to interact with faculty and students from other areas, because none of us work or live in a vacuum. The workforce now is very dynamic. And students that have that are engineers, go on to become engineers, can also benefit greatly from having a strong computer science background so that they can know how to best engineer the projects that they're working on. Artificial intelligence right now is touching nearly every industry, nearly every career. So it's essential that students that are in business analytics, that are in electrical engineering, that are in biotechnology, have a background in artificial intelligence as well, because that's something that is going to change the landscape of people's work and people's lives. So that interdisciplinary nature is absolutely essential, and I think a truly transformative, unique experience for WPI. And then the third thing I'll say, which I think is very helpful, in particular for our international students, is the fact that nearly all of our programs have a STEM designation. Even our business programs are STEM designated, which is incredibly helpful in the visa process, yes, but also as students are approaching graduation and considering OPT and CPT opportunities, that STEM designation in our business programs are going to be very valuable to help you secure those really important experiences after graduation. There are many things, Kayode, that I could point to, but the three that I always like to go back to are theory and practice, interdisciplinary, and STEM designation.
Yeah, I mean, I think those three reasons you gave are actually very fantastic. I love the WPI motto, the theory into practice. I mean, me coming from a background, school in Nigeria, so it's just theory, and Adeni can attest to this and Remy. So seeing WPI putting so much effort into, turning theory into practice, it's amazing. So my next question goes to Remy. And so this is based on your experience so far, right? So I want to know how your experience at WPI has prepared you for your career goals, and what kind of roles or industries are you hoping to explore after graduating?
Thank you for that question, Kaede. I would say that the WPI Business School has really helped me in terms of the skills, the tools I've been introduced to at WPI. They've pretty much boosted my confidence and refined my expertise, I mean, to align with, industry demand, skills and tools. And I would say right now, also because of how dynamic my program or course of study here is, I mean, I am pretty much qualified to go for a role in business analytics as a business analyst. I can apply for positions like data analyst, marketing analyst, based on some of the courses I've also taken, digital marketing, and my experience so far. Also with the new inception of AI into my program, I'm pretty much also open to going for, business AI professional job roles. I would say it's just like a diverse, like you said, it's interdisciplinary. So I came in as a business analyst to study business analytics with, with marketing stream as more like my specialization. But aside that, I've been open to data analytics. I've been open to generative AI or AI as a whole. I've been open to, a little bit of machine learning and its application in business. I've been open to marketing courses. So anything around that area, even digital marketing, social media marketing, whatever it is in that line, I think that's about 6 different opportunities or field I can enter into conveniently, and I won't be shaken, Also, in terms of industry, I feel like also with how dynamic my course of study is, almost every organization needs a data analyst right now. They need a marketing analyst, they need a specialist, they need a business analyst. As Daniel also said earlier, every industry now is affected or needs to incorporate AI into whatever they're doing. So as a student or as a young professional going out there in the world, having those extras like AI, the knowledge of AI into everything you've done, having the knowledge, having proven record of projects you've worked on, in all these different aspects of my program, I feel like I have a variety of options. And for the industry, it is unlimited as long as they have those positions related to what I have studied, the skills I have gained. As long as they have it open, my opportunities are pretty much diverse, unlimited. In terms of preference, I am looking out for tech industries, healthcare industries, anything that has to do with data, business, or marketing. And of course, with AI in it, because that makes you more relevant. And yeah, so I would say WP has really given me that wings to fly, if that's a better way of putting it. And I'm pretty much open to any industry that is in demand of the kind of skills I've gotten here or the kind of knowledge I've unearthed, or ready to have, or that has a role or position open in my area of study or expertise. So far, I'm pretty much open. I'm not limiting myself. Even the educational industry, just name it, as long as they have a role or a position that can fit in the skills and this knowledge, or that I'm very much versatile or open, that I've gained a number of knowledge in and expertise in, I'm pretty much open to pursue. So that's about it.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Remilekun. So Adeni, my question goes to you. What advice would you give to prospective students, especially international students that are considering WPI for their postgraduate programs?
Good question. I've got 3 on my list. I'm going to take one from what Daniel said earlier about the STEM certification. So I think one great thing to know as an international student is the opportunity to have a 3-year OPT option. And you can only get a 3-year OPT option if you do a STEM certified program. So, and the great thing about this is all the programs in WPI are STEM certified because it's an engineering school, it's a technical school, right? So, and as an international student myself, that's a big gain for me, given the opportunity to work for 3 years after my studies, right? Now, the second thing is be open to learn from faculty members. Be open to learn, just coming from a place where we do not have direct access to professors, where you are scared of asking professors questions in class. On the flip side of things, in WPI, our faculty members are open, I mean, many of them are okay for you to call them by their first names, right? And ask them any questions, right? And in WPI, I've come to understand that no question is a foolish question. We tend to look at questions from different angles and different perspectives. And I'm going to say this for free. When I came into WPI, I struggled a bit because, in WPI, we have a platform called Canvas, right? Where we have discussions and things like that. So we work collaboratively on the platform. But someone who is not familiar with an online platform to learning, right? I'm not used to asking my professor a question on the chat. What is this? What is that? Explain this, explain that, and in WPI, yeah, we get opportunity to chat with the professor, even though you don't want to use the email. Many of them are on the Canvas, and you can discuss with them based on any assignment, based on any lecture, anything whatsoever. So be open to learning, be open to approach your professors. The last advice I'm going to give is be open to work as a team member. Be open to work with a team, right? In WPI, as we've said many times on this call, it's project-based, and many of these projects are, they are grouped, right? You're going to be working with a team, either from your program or from different departments or different programs, right? So you need to be open to learn from everyone. I've worked with numerous teams right in WPI. And aside from working with people from different programs, there is also the intentionality of different countries, right, represented in WPI, right? So be open to work with people from different continents, people from different countries. There may be some language barrier, some cultural barrier, but we get to learn these things when we are open to learn from them and we are open to work with them. So just to recap, my 3 advice would be choose a course that is STEM certified. Of course, WPI gives you that. Be open to learn and be open to work as a team member.
Thank you very much, Adeni. So Daniel, my final question to you, and this is a big question that I'm sure is on the mind of everyone. So what advice would you give to prospective students on creating a compelling application for WPI's graduate programs? What advice would you give to prospective students to create a compelling application?
Coyote, you are asking excellent questions, and this is also a very important one. I'm glad you asked this question. Each one of us here this afternoon or this evening, depending on what time zone we're in, is unique. We all have our own interests, our own talents, stuff that we're passionate about. We all have questions that we want to get answers to. We all have interests that we want to research and explore. The whole purpose of this application process is for you, the student, to share that information with us. We're very curious. We want to know what you're interested in. We genuinely want to know the questions that you have. What would you like to accomplish in your own unique academic career? What was your inspiration for looking at a master's degree or a PhD? Once you earn that degree, what would you like to do with it? How would you like to be that positive impact in your community, in your country, in this world? There are no wrong answers to those questions. I think the best way to approach the admission application process is to be very honest and share what it is that you are interested in with us. That does 2 things. First of all, for you, it makes for a much more enjoyable admission process. This application should be fun. It should not be difficult. It should not be a chore. It should not be something that you are discouraged by. It's an opportunity for you to reflect and think about what really means the most to me and what would I like to do. And the second thing it does, it helps us learn how WPI can support you on your journey, on your academic path. That's the whole purpose of this admission application. So if you can enjoy it, if you can share as much information about you as you feel comfortable, that will allow you to enjoy the process, and it will allow us to then best serve you once you're here on campus as a student. So please, more than anything else, have fun with this admission process and tell us your interests, your passion, your goals, and then we'll do our best to help you try to achieve those goals and dreams.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Adini. Thank you, Remileku. I'm sure you guys have gotten a lot of insights and you've gotten a lot. And if I were you, I'll be taking notes of all of these things, all the points that have been made. So now we're going to take some of the questions that you've asked. And so if you still have questions, you still have a chance to drop the questions in the Q&A box. So we'll take some questions. So I've gotten a lot of questions that relate to, one or two particular areas, and I'm going to group them into 5. So in case I don't mention your name specifically, just know that I'm touching on those questions. So your questions are going to be touched, because a lot of you are asking very, very similar questions. So I'm going to group them into 5 categories. So one is going to touch on the letter of recommendations, which a lot of people have asked. The second one is the WES evaluation. The third is on funding and scholarship. The fourth is on GRE and GMAT grade. So I'll just take your questions. So I think a lot of these questions are directed at Daniel, from what I see. So Daniel, we have questions in these 4 different categories. So let me just take one of them, but I'm sure as you touch on it, you're going to answer a lot of the other questions as well that relate to it. So, Nunana, I'm sorry for murdering your name, Nunana Ashong. If I didn't pronounce it well, apologies. So you're asking about the recommendation letter, and a lot of other people have also asked about it as well. So you said, can you submit recommendations letter? Because it's quite difficult to get recommenders to give recommendations. So I think the question is around recommendations letters, and who can give them recommendations, who can be their recommenders, right? So can it just be previous employers, or it has to be their previous tutors or their previous lecturers or academic mentors, or people that they've studied in school with. So
absolutely.
Do you mind taking that question? Okay.
I'm happy to, and I certainly will invite Adenye and Remy to share if they had who they had write the letters of recommendation. My general advice is we certainly encourage students to ask professors, faculty members, people that they have worked with in an academic setting for a letter of recommendation. That's very important for us because it gives us insights in somebody else's insights into your academic abilities, into your what it's like to be in a classroom with you. There's tremendous value in that. However, if a student wanted to also include a letter of recommendation from an employer or from somebody outside of the classroom setting, I think that would be fine also. Adenye, Remy, did both of you, did you use exclusively faculty writing recommendations, or did you have people who are not professors, not teachers, not faculty, also write a letter of recommendation? Remy?
Thank you, Daniel. I think for me, it was a mix. I had one of my professors write me a recommendation, but because I was coming from a very interesting angle in my background, like my undergraduate, I did geology, and then I had worked in marketing for like 3 years after graduation, and I was going to do business analytics. So, I mean, my professor wrote based on my character, their experience with me as a student of geology, but I didn't want them to buttress too much on just geology because I've had experience in marketing, which has something to do with what I was coming in here to study, right? So I had to approach my senior colleagues at work, people that I had worked with, but like the two other recommenders that wrote recommendations for me just to create a balance. But yes, the professors kind of like made a huge difference because when people say professor, that speaks a lot, about who is vouching for you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Remy. And Adenye, did you also use a mix, or did you just have professors and faculty write?
It was a mix for me as well.
I would guess that most students would use a mix, and that's totally appropriate.
Yeah. And the recommendation must be sent through the platform, or can they send the recommendation via email?
It really should come uploaded. That's a great question. It really should be uploaded from the website rather than emailed in. What will happen is when the student is filling out their application, they can enter the faculty member, the employer, the recommender's contact information. They'll receive an email and they'll be able to upload it directly. So it's a streamlined process.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry,
you,
can I
Daniel.
chip in something, Kayode?
Okay. Yes, you can.
Just from
you
experience. Okay, so I believe there are some people on this call that would be at their workplace and be like, I don't want my employer to know that I have plans to probably further my education, soon, because that can create eyebrow. And what if I don't get admitted and I have to still stay at my job, and they have this, how do I approach them to write a recommendation for me? So it doesn't necessarily have to be like your current job. It could be like a job you've worked at previously before moving to like your current job. Just someone of influence enough to like vouch for you and to speak about your person and maybe your work ethics, and the experience so far with you on the professional level. So if you're worried about, oh, I don't want my current employer to know my moves or my plans, because we Africans kind of like do that at times, you can approach someone that, you've also had maybe worked with, volunteered with, something of that sort in other areas that also like speaks of your person very well. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So to Lovelace and every other person that asked about the recommendations, I hope you got the answers to your questions. So your recommenders have to, they don't have to be your lecturers or people that you went to school with. They can be your employers or past employers, and they have to send in the recommendation through the portal, through the website. My next question is going to be about funding. I know a lot of people, a lot of us from Africa, we're always, one of the top questions that we always ask is about funding and scholarships. So if you don't mind, Daniel, can you tell us about the scholarships available for WPI and all the funding options available and how it works and how people can tap into it?
This is a very appropriate, very important question to ask. There are a couple of things that I can point to. WPI does offer at least two types of assistantships on campus. They could be teaching assistantships, which are very appropriate for those students that want to get into teaching, they want to become a professor, they want to stay at a university or in an academic setting. We also offer research assistantships on campus. Now, most of those assistantships, the TAs and the RAs, are going to be reserved for graduate students, PhDs, and that's okay. For master's degree students, we do offer some opportunities on campus for part-time employment. Those could be in an academic department. They could be in an administrative office. There's a number of those on campus, and WPI recognizes the value of that. And we are really trying to offer more part-time jobs for graduate students on campus. That's an opportunity for them to get not only good experience, but also help finance their education. Academic scholarships are something that we are now able to offer international students. That is not something that you would have to apply for. If a student is going to be offered an academic scholarship, we will make that offer at the time of admission. There are no separate applications. We will use the criteria that we get already from the application, your transcript, your test scores, all of that information, to go ahead and award that. So the combination of some students being available for assistantships, students that are able to secure part-time jobs, students that are receiving academic scholarships, all of those are aimed at making this WPI education affordable and accessible to as many students as possible.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Bernard Adu Jadisola, I hope that answers your question about the scholarships. So WPI scholarships comes after you've completed your application. They would select those who qualify for the scholarship. It's not a scholarship that you have to apply for. So my next question centers around the WES evaluation. And so can you tell us about the WES evaluation and if it can be waived? I think someone asked about it being waived and if the GRE also can be waived. Daniel.
Two great questions. So because we receive applications and transcripts from around the world, we are very familiar with different grading scales, with different educational settings and environments. And of course, WES is one of two main translating services that that students can use. I'm sorry, I'll get into the WES in just a second. Kayode, what was the second part of that question? It was not just WES, it was also about one other aspect?
GRE.
Oh, yes.
And if it can be waived.
That's right. Okay, so the GRE is not a requirement for all of our programs. As a matter of fact, many of our master's degree programs do not require it at all. So in that sense, you don't have to worry about it being waived, because if you haven't taken the test or you would rather not send it, that's totally fine. We do have some programs, and I think a lot of them are going to be our PhD programs, where that is a requirement. Because we have so many programs, it may not be possible for me to go through each one to say which ones are required and which ones are not required, but that information is available on the website. Unfortunately, if the program requires GREs, I do not think we would be able to waive that. The good news, however, is that most of our academic programs do not require a GRE or a GMAT, so you do not have to worry about that. I think that will be totally fine. In terms of the transcript evaluations, I'm going to drop some information here into the chat that talks about those. We're familiar with WES. There's another translating or evaluation service that many students use, but I'm going to go ahead and drop that info here so that we all have that.
Thank you very much, Daniel. So once again, I want to say that like everyone that participates in this webinar will get an exclusive fee waiver. So for those that are asking for the application fee waiver, don't worry, you're going to get, or you can even check in the comments, you can check in the chat right now, there's a fee waiver code there. So you just look for it, look for the message from C Global in the webinar chat. You see the code there, so you can apply that fee waiver. So the fee waiver is valid from now till the application closes. The application window closes at WPI. So with that, I think we can start rounding up the program. So I want to also mention to you that if you need specific profile, or if you have specific profile needs or questions, we are going to be sharing a link with you by tomorrow for a profile evaluation session with Daniel. It's going to be a one-on-one session with Daniel where you can ask questions. He can review your profile, and you can get all your pressing questions answered. So please look out for an email and a WhatsApp from Seed Global. If you're registered, you should get this email and this WhatsApp message with the link to register for that profile evaluation. You have a one-on-one. Okay, it seems okay. So the fee waiver code is in the chat right now in case you missed it. So just copy it and save it, or do a screenshot of it and save it. So I want to thank you, especially Daniel, for making the time out to come on this session to give so much insight on WPI, the programs you offer, and all of the nuggets that you share to help everyone that is willing to learn and apply for WPI programs. And thank you so much, Adeni. Thank you so much, Milekun, for also taking the time to share your experience. And we look forward to, I hope that the participants, people on this webinar, can reach out to you on social media, on LinkedIn or wherever, or any of these platforms. I hope I hope when they reach out to you, you're going to respond to them kindly and answer their questions, and also direct them to the appropriate channels. So thank you very, very much for taking the time out this evening. And thank you everyone for joining us this evening. You could have been anywhere else, but you took the time to join us. It is, about 9:40 here in Lagos, in Nairobi, probably 12 or 11. Thank you so much. We really appreciate the time. And please look out for the link for the profile evaluation session with Daniel one-on-one. And we look forward to seeing you at other sessions such as this. Thank you very, very much, everyone, and have a great evening or afternoon or morning, wherever you are. Bye for now.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.